But are you connected on your hikes? Because it's one thing to go on a hike every day. It's one thing to go out in your backyard in your lush greenery every day. But it's another thing to take the moment to truly connect to the things around you. And these people are connected like I've never believed a human being can be connected. The indigenous of Ecuador are not people in the jungle. They are outgrowths of the jungle in human form. All right, so I am back from the Ecuadorian jungle. And boy, do I have a lot of things to say. You know, there was a lot of moments when I was there and I was like, I really got to communicate this with the world. And I've been so excited to do so. But before I do, I want to paint the picture about what I believe to be destiny. And we hear so much about it in movies, especially those action movies where the guy climbs a mountain or the girl goes through the village and really comes into contact with their destiny, right? What has been waiting for them all of their lives. And I think a lot of these things happen in our lives where something deeper tries to communicate with us and show us this path that is there for us. And a lot of the times, it takes one deep emotion, and it's courage, to really step into it. And the way the series of events happened that brought me to this place, that really brought all this information for me to give to you all, was a wonderful synchronous timeline. I remember clearly meditating in 2020. You know, the pandemic just started. And I had left Venice because I thought LA was just going to start burning. And I went to Palm Springs and I had a home there. And I stayed there for 2 months. And I was with a few people. And I remember one of the first nights we all did a meditation together, a guided meditation. And I was out. Like, I don't know if any of you have meditated and you just go into another world and you're like between waking consciousness versus dreaming. And I remember I had a vision where I'm standing in front of this huge tree and I'm looking up the tree slowly. And then I look down and then I look to my right, and on my right side, like a mirror, like an image of you, they're looking at you in the mirror, I see an indigenous person, indigenous man with red eye paint over their eyes. And they're looking at me and I'm looking at him. And I immediately came out of my meditation. And I guess I was the last one in a deep meditation. I go to my girlfriend at the time. I go, I feel like there was just a ghost in my meditation. I don't know. It just didn't feel like any other meditation. So I see this indigenous person. It really stuck with me. And then I began having dreams. And in these dreams, I started seeing the indigenous tribes with red eye paint. And I started really trying to figure out what is happening, what's communicating with me. For a while, they went on the back burner and I didn't see any visions for about 1.5 years, actually. And then you'll all recall, I did a show about coming back from Portugal and doing the emotional release training, and really that being a life-changing thing, especially the way I practice and the way I communicate about health. But in that space in Portugal, I had connected in practice as one of my partners for one of the sessions with this wonderful, wonderful clairvoyant person from Brazil. And I too have clairvoyancy, so I can see things and she can see things. So we end up being together randomly, right? By chance, randomly, quote unquote. And we are going through this emotional release process. And it's wonderful because she's coming back to her power and she's understanding the things that she's been pushing away. And then she's starting to feel joy and bliss, things that she hasn't felt in such a long time. And then the emotional release training or the emotional release session just sort of shifts. And she goes to this place where she begins to have this vision. And she's talking all of a sudden like, oh my God, I see this tree. And then she's like, I see 2 tribes. And in these 2 tribes, wow, I feel like they're indigenous tribes in the rainforest. I go, wow, okay. And I'm just supporting her, hearing this. And then it hits her and she goes, oh my God, I was part of the one tribe and you were part of the other tribe. I go, and then in my head, I go, me? And she goes, no, oh my God. And she starts crying, bursting out into tears because she's having a memory of a past life. And for all of you who aren't aware of this, we have in our genes, right, genetic material, genetic information that's been lasting lifetimes. All of your life, all of your lives, all of your genes, all of your heritage, all of your ancestry is in your DNA, right? This is actually how generational trauma is passed down from generation to generation. The genetic changes, right? The green lights and the red lights of what is being expressed and not expressed in your genes is activated and not activated based on genetics, right? Your family lineage. So for her, scientifically, I'm just seeing her genes being expressed. Something that was turned off became turned on, and she had this memory. And I was so intrigued because I'm listening to it. And she's like, oh my God, Christian, you were part of this tribe. You were the leader of this tribe. And I was a leader of the other tribe. And we used to leave our tribes at night and go into the woods and start a fire and just laugh and talk for hours. We were best friends. And she goes, you, Christian, you taught me about being light and happy and jokey and just fun. And I taught you wisdom. And I taught you strength and groundedness. And I was really in awe hearing her have this because I can see it unfolding like a movie. And there came to the place where we needed to end the session. So I slowly started to bring her out of her body. And I can feel her really getting sad because she's like, I haven't seen you in so long. It's going to be the last time that I see you. I don't think I'm going to see you again, but I miss you. I love you. We were best friends. And it was kind of emotional for her to come out of it, but she came out and we sat and she was still shedding her last tears and we were debriefing about the whole experience. And it was beautiful because when we were debriefing, she was telling me all these things and then she goes, it was crazy, Christian, like this indigenous person, it was like, I knew it was you. It kind of looked like you, but it wasn't. You had this haircut and she's describing the haircut and then she goes, yeah, and then it automatically in me, my intuition went off and I go, whoa, she's going to say it. And when I said she's going to say it, she's going to say that I had red eye paint. And then she goes, yeah, and then you had red eye paint over your eyes. And for me, my stomach dropped because how would she know? How would she know that this vision that had nothing to do with her 2 years before came to me, or I saw it in dreams? And I walked out of the room because I was kind of like freaked out. And I came back and I told her all about it. And she goes, yeah, there's something here, there's something there. And I've had so many pulls to go back to Ecuador. So many. And I've had people on Instagram saying, I can connect to spirits and your guides. They want you to go back to Ecuador. I've been told this, but I just didn't know where to go. So fast forward a few months after the emotional release this year, about 2 months ago, I'm doing a talk. And in this talk, I see this guy in the crowd and I've seen him before. And I remember I helped him in the streets of Venice. He had a squirrel stuck in his hubcap and we were trying to get the squirrel out. It was just a stranger to me at the time. And he came and I haven't talked to him since, and we caught up and he told me he's filming this Netflix series that's going all across the world to film gurus for each country and bringing non-believers there. So I was so intrigued. And he goes, yeah, the first place I went is Ecuador. I go, oh, I'm Ecuador. And he goes, let me show you. It's going to be really cool. I go, oh, you have a trailer. And he opens his trailer. And before he opens it, I go, these people wouldn't happen to have red eye paint over their face. He goes, yeah, check it out. Press play. The first shot is the guy I came to know, Minari. And the first shot is his face with red eye paint. And my heart drops. And I go to the nearest person, or I go to my partner at the time. I go, look, red eye paint. And she goes, wow, look, it's your dreams. I know, wow. And I go to him, I go, hey man, I gotta go there. And he goes, well, lucky for you, my friend is holding a retreat there and it's in a month. I go, in a month? I call her up. Next day, I tell her I'm in. I don't care the cost. I don't care the time. I don't care what it is. I'm going. So I end up going. So I'm flying to Ecuador and I feel in me, I'm taking it's a night flight. The best flight I found was a night one. And I'm going to sleep and on the flight, I feel in me something being activated. It's a sort of like, because time doesn't exist, there's no past or future. Everything is happening now. Your birth and death is happening now. It already happened, which is sometimes hard to believe. But if we look at the illusion of time, more as if we're on the North Pole looking down at the equator versus us walking the equator, we would see that there is all one time versus us walking the equator where we only see future and look behind us and see past. So I can feel my body being activated going there. And going there with this wonderful group of people, really down to earth, really looking to better themselves and give back to humanity. It's a funny reflection of the people you attract in your life. And within a night, we stay in Quito, the city, the main capital, and then the next night, 5 in the morning, 2 in the morning, we're on this 4-hour ride to the town before the jungle. And in that 4-hour ride, I'm just like feeling the altitude, feeling kind of sick, feeling run down already because of the flight. I didn't sleep well. But I start becoming activated when we're getting ready to take the flight. And we are on, when I tell you I've never been on a plane like this, we are on a plane of like 6 people max, sort of those buzzy planes, it's like, you got to really trust already. And we're on this plane, and for the first time ever, I'm seeing the Amazon jungle. And this small plane is flying pretty low, and I'm looking down and I see miles and miles and miles of lush forest. I've never felt something so alive. The earth so alive, the earth so vibrant, the earth so expressed. And we touch down. And immediately we come down and we're met by this village of indigenous, right? The Sapara tribe. And I come in and I see like these people, and I've never seen children like this. The children there, you are so attracted to because they're so radiant. These children draw you in because they're free souls. They're not on iPads. They're not told that they can't. They are free to explore the world. They're in touch with nature. They're grounded. They're in touch with community. They're eating food from nature, and you see it. You see it in their eyes. You see it in their energy. And that's the first thing I noticed. And I'm brought back, and I'm brought in. The whole group is brought in, and we go through this cleansing ceremony. And going through a cleansing ceremony for the first time for me, if any of you out there has put Palo Santo over your body or sage over your body and felt a little difference, imagine that, but on steroids. I mean, I'm having tobacco blown on the back of my head, and this very special Amazonian plant, a branch with leaves smacked across my back, and I'm feeling activated. I'm feeling like I'm already grounded. And then they come and they just put red eye paint over my eye. And to see myself on my own camera as the vision that I saw 3 years ago, was one of the most incredible moments of my life, because when you see that which you have seen in your mind's eye come to reality, you see how powerful the law of attraction is. You see how powerful destiny is. You see how powerful things are supposed to unfold. And for me, I have particularly been trying to come into contact with deep-seated anger. That is actually one of my intentions before doing ayahuasca out there. And I wanted to come into contact with anger. But Minari, the man that I saw in the video, the spiritual leader of the Sapara, huge political leader in Ecuador, comes up to me and he asked me in Spanish, and thank God I speak Spanish because we had a beautiful bond. He said, "I'm going to name you Rapaka." He goes, "That's your Sapara name." I go, "Rapaka." I go, "What does this even mean?" And it means the heart of the earth. And I go, "Okay." And he goes, "When it's healthy and vibrant," he goes, can heal the whole world. But when it's angry, can cause destruction. And I was like, how the hell did this man just say anger? How does he know that this is my intention? And just going through the process of just having that exchange, my first exchange with this spiritual leader, was beautiful. And then we go through into the Amazon, right to the retreat area. And when I tell you, for all of you who've been on the Amazon River, God bless, because I can't even explain the energy of the Amazon River. We got into a boat and we went about maybe 15 minutes down the river, and I'm looking around and I have never seen such lush, vibrant biodiversity. I've never seen butterflies so big. I've never seen so many. I've seen butterflies the size of my hand, about 30 of them just making circles like a tornado. I see monkeys jumping around. I see a toucan flying across the boat. I see the biggest spiders I've ever seen, but you feel it. And there's something to be said about this environment. And there's something to be said even deeper about the people of this environment. And this is where I bring it to you all. For me, the indigenous are something that we as human beings need to strive to be. It's funny how things happen, right? We as human beings look to move away from the indigenous and become technologically advanced, right? Advanced in our thinking, in our knowledge, in our books, right? In our concepts, in our studies, in our universities, in our diplomas, and our high-paying jobs. My God, how much we've strayed away and become so divergent from what it is to be healthy. And when I look at these people, truly look at these people, I see the healthiest people I've ever seen in my life. And I say that without any hesitation. What does health mean? For me, it's looking at these people living in the jungle. For one, being in community. I talk about community all the time, but being in true community, meeting together all the time, laughing together, cooking together, sharing. There is no, this is mine, this is yours, sharing. What does it mean to be healthy? These people are putting their feet on the ground every single morning, all day, and at night. They are so deeply connected to nature, like I've never seen. And this is what I'm going to challenge all of you with. Ask yourself, what is your connection to nature, truly? Okay, I go on hikes every day. Okay, but are you connected on your hikes? Because it's one thing to go on a hike every day. It's one thing to go out in your backyard in your lush greenery every day. But it's another thing to take the moment to truly connect to the things around you. And these people are connected like I've never believed a human being can be connected. The indigenous of Ecuador are not people in the jungle. They are outgrowths of the jungle in human form. They are so tuned into the rhythms and the spirit of everything. And this is a theme that came over and over. It's spirit. They see the world in spirit. They have such a spiritual connection to life. They know the spirit of the smallest plant and the largest tree. They know the spirit of the crocodile, of the jaguar, of the toucan, of the tarantula. They know the spirit of the ground, the wind, the water. They know the spirit of the minerals underground. They know the spirit of petroleum deep, deep, deep in the earth. Everything to them has a spirit, and they can define it in words. They can tell you the character, and there's a deep connection. I mean, I've never experienced a human being that was able to predict the weather over and over. And Minari was able to predict what's going to happen when it's going to rain. Why? Well, I'll give you an example. We all go 2 hours deep into the rainforest, and we're not on a trail. We're talking about bushwhacking, machetes going through deep into the rainforest, and we find this waterfall. Actually, we were going towards a waterfall, and I jump in, and I feel the power of this waterfall. We all go in, we eat fruits, and then we leave the waterfall, and he goes, it's going to rain. He goes, it's going to rain soon because the Amazon, the water is talking to the sky, to the wind, and it needs to clear the scent of human beings. And I'm looking at the sky, I go, there is not one cloud. What is this man talking about? 15 minutes later, I've never seen a downpour like this. There is wind, there is rain, there is mud, and it's because they are so in tune to nature. They know. When someone's sick, they dream about the plant. The plant communicates, hey, use me for this person's stomachache. Use me for this person's wound. To know that nature is always trying to communicate with you, but we lost that sixth sense. We completely lost the sense of who we are and how deeply connected we are to nature. But guess what? We have that within us. So I'm going to challenge all of you. Go outside when you can. Go to the nearest tree and begin to trust your intuition. Go to the nearest tree and put your hand on it and close your eyes and tune into the tree. When I say tune in, really tune into the feeling of the tree. And if you can feel into that tree and feel into what it's trying to communicate, don't think you're crazy. Don't think the first thought, what did I just hear? What did I just feel? What did I just see? Right? Don't even ask yourself. Just trust that that's the tree trying to communicate with you and you communicating with the tree. You'll soon see that everything in nature is always, without fail, trying to communicate with you. We've turned down the volume, we've muted it, but we have that sixth sense. And why am I telling you this? Because the more connected you are to nature, the healthier you are as a human being, period. The more connected you are to your surroundings, to plants, to dirt, to the wind, to the water, to the minerals, right? To the animals, the more you are connected to what they're trying to tell you, the more you are connected to who you are. And the more you are connected to who you are, the healthier you are as a human being. This is living. Living is knowing that your spirit is inseparable from the spirit of everything that you see. That's living, and that's your spiritual health. And these people in the Amazon display that and exemplify it like I've never believed a human being could. Cancer doesn't exist in these populations. There's no such thing as cancer. Disease doesn't exist in these populations. They die of old age and they die of accidents. That's it. So there's something to be said and learned about community, about the way we share, about our ego saying, this is mine, this is yours, about wanting to achieve and achieve and achieve and do and achieve more and buy and materialism versus just being who you are, being in the moment, trusting who you are, speaking with an open heart, heart-centric individuals, connecting back to nature, eating from the land. This is the beauty of what it is to be a human, and we forgot how to do that. So I'm here to remind you what it is to be a human. I'm here to remind you to trust in who you are. Surrender into the things around you. Get back into nature, but truly, don't just go on a hike with your friends and call it getting to nature. No, go to nature. Sit down in front of the four-leaf clover and literally tune into the clover. Put your dirt in your hands. Put your hands on the dirt and connect to the dirt, right? If you're in the water, really feel what the water is trying to tell you, because I promise you, if you listen, you're going to hear stuff. And that's beautiful. And that, my friends, is what Ecuador, is what the Amazon, is what these beautiful things have taught me. So with that said, that's my challenge to you. Get back in touch with who you are. Feel how beautiful nature is when you're connected to it, and then feel how your health starts improving. That's my knowledge bomb.